So let's dig into the Texas Ibogaine Research Initiative in particular, and kind of the backstory of how you started paying attention to the regulatory rollout, and some of the missing gaps, in your opinion, in terms of announcing the private partner that is supposedly ponying up $50 million to match the $50 million in state funding, right?
Yeah.
Give us the 101 on that.
Yeah. So as a business executive and owner, I also have a liquid gold funding company that I've run. I understand equity funding and the mechanisms of it. And so when the conversation started around, oh, hey, there's going to be this grant, we'll call it a grant, quote unquote, for 50 million that you'll match, and that's $100 million investment in a business, as somebody that's involved in the space, that has equity in the space, that has patents that can be applied to that 100 million, was already working with University of Texas Health and things like that in different capacities. It was something that came on my radar as an interest. And then the questions that I was asking when I would start to ask both the bill authors, people that worked in the bill authors offices, as well as the people championing the bill, these questions couldn't be answered. It was kind of like, hey, we'll get to that, but that's not really the concern right now. And so it went from something of, hey, I'm kind of a little bit interested, to, hey, I'm going to start filing, freedom of information request and see if I can just get this information, because this type of thing is being used as the model now around. And if it's going to be used as the model, it's got to make sense. And for me right now, it didn't make business sense.
Yeah.
And so without these questions, it wasn't something that I could personally put my stamp of approval on my company and say, hey, let's apply for this. Let's put the effort behind, getting this 50 million and matching it, because I didn't have the answer to these questions. And some of those questions, like the equity stake and things like that, remained unanswered. And how exactly that works, or if it's been done before or hasn't been done before, and the way and the why and the why not, were very important to me. So I started asking lots of people lots of questions. And the long story short is, all of the answers are, well, we don't know. We're just pushing things forward. We'll figure that out. And then I still have zero answers in terms of who the actual drug development partner is, aside from the universities. The application deadline between, let's say, the passing of the law to the actual application window that was open, which was only open for something like 30 to 45 days, I think, in like July through August, something like that. And it had to be the university. Yeah. So it had to be the university that would apply. And then, so without the answer to these questions, it was kind of impossible for me to even apply and to partner with even a university, even if we were already partnered with them. And then, so how people thought that it was a good idea, how it actually is going to roll out, how those contracts make sense, and then how you could replicate this and keep the benefit only in Texas, but partner with other states. Everything from the beginning didn't make sense to me. But it was, you don't necessarily want to be the squeaky wheel when we are trying to move psychedelic reform, or whatever we want to call it, forward. And then, so I tried to do it in a way that doesn't stop things, but also it's like, hey, if we're going to do this in other states, we need to think about these things. And for a business, it doesn't make sense to dilute my equity and to take on this other quote unquote grant, when there has been situations like Suboxone that actually was a $61 million NIH grant that never had a diluted equity portion of it. It wasn't like they were saying, hey, for every $5 you make, I want $1 back forever. Right.
Yeah.
That's going to affect cost to the end patient as well, because you have this responsibility and equity that you've already given out.
Of course.